I cannot I cannot believe this. Okay, so the news that is coming out now is that the Academy never asked Will Smith to leave. Pretty much a recap here. Actually, let me up the light a little bit. Um, so apparently, the original stories that were coming out from this, we were pretty much told. Obviously, we know what happened with Will Smith. We know that the slap happened. He then went back to his seat. About 10, 15, 20 minutes later, he accepted the award. But he then the next day, we're told that the Academy is saying that they told Will Smith that they would like for him to leave. Will Smith said that he would very much rather stay, so they decided to let him stay. The big part of the conversation started becoming people, wondering why didn't the Academy take an extra step in actually making him, leave or something like that, and effectively pretty much telling people or making it so that the public pretty much thought, hey, look, we asked him to leave. We did pretty much as we could. This was a very important award for diversity. It was an important award for a very prominent, well liked public figure. We figured it was a good idea for him to have a moment on stage to be able to talk through what it was that was going on. I can understand the sentiments that are going on there, but for it to come out, and this is being reported by a few more tabloidy outlets, I think it's still going to be another 2 hours before this kind of pushes its way into the more mainstream publications. But honestly, I think this is a thing that a lot of us has been thinking about. Like, did that honestly happen? Did someone actually ask him to leave? Tyler Perry got involved. Denzel Washington got involved. Like, how do we know for certain that he was actually asked to leave? And if he wasn't, then I think that cuts much deeper, and that's going to keep the story around much, much longer because it does cut much more to the core of why I think this story is so important, and why it is sticking around in the culture even more than I think a lot of people want it to. So I'm going to read through what this article is saying here about what's going on here. Let me get it up real quick. Let's see. Okay. So the Academy lied about asking him to leave the Oscars. It says Will Smith was never asked to leave the Oscars after he slapped Chris Rock. In fact, the opposite is true. He was told by the producer of the show that he was allowed to stay. This is according to sources with direct knowledge who were present. So the Academy and Will Smith all are in their own different piles of shit. You've got the Academy, who essentially, obviously, we know the shit that Will Smith is in. His public image has always been very squeaky clean, very family friendly, and this has made him. We've seen him become very angry. We've seen that there's a very dark side to him. It came out in one of the most fake environments, making it even worse than if we kind of just saw it as a video on the street. This was very unpolished. This was embarrassing, and it took place somewhere where people already know that the Academy is not very respected, the Oscars are not very respected. It pretty much tanked any respectability that was left for these awards. Now, the only way that you could use this to your advantage, essentially, is if you're the Academy. And the Academy, I think if they had done the right thing, they would have made him leave. And if you wanted things to be better, you would have the Williams sisters accept the award on his behalf. They then would make a great speech about the struggles they've gone through. They would have thanked their father. At that point, it would have been good if Will Smith had done some public reconciliation with Chris Rock. I think at that point, this is done. The worst thing that you could do, honestly, what I thought the worst thing you could do would let him stay and then lie about the fact that you actually told him to leave. I have no idea to lie about whether or not about telling him that he was not allowed to stay makes this so much more discredited as a valuable institution. Back in 2017, they put those rules in about what you were and weren't allowed to do their code of conduct because they were getting so much shit about Harvey Weinstein, rightly so. But now something like that, we're pretty much looking to them to be like, okay, can you deal with things seriously? Can the fakest institution in America deal with things seriously? If they're lying about this, then this is going to really force them, because they pretty much said the other day, look, what are we going to do about Will Smith? We'll announce what we're going to do on the 18th. And the response is pretty much like, what else do you need to see? What else do you need to see? It all happened in front of us on live TV. Did Chris Rock say something else that we didn't know about? Like, what is there to investigate here? Like, what's going on? Maybe a week I could see, but why you need half a month to investigate what's going on here? And pretty much the only thing they could really do to kind of push that as far as, believable is to say, well, we need to, we reprimanded him as much as we could on the day, so we're going to take time. And now to kind of, you lied about reprimanding him on the day. You lied about reprimanding him on the day. That means that you now have to go even farther in condemning him, because they put out that statement the next day. We condemn this. We condemn this and all other forms of violence. And it's like, you don't. You don't condemn all forms of violence at all. You're perfectly fine with this. If someone powerful does something like this, someone rich does something like this, they can get away with it. Because effectively, so far, Will Smith is fully getting away with this. The article then goes on to say, as you know by now, the Academy said Wednesday they had asked Will to leave the Dolby Theater after the slap, but he refused. Three sources who were at the ceremony and witnessed various conversations say yes. After the slap, Academy officials were backstage with Will's representatives, and they were heated conversations about what had just gone down. We were told that there was split among the officials. Some did want him to be booted, but others did not. There were various discussions during several commercial breaks, but never reached a consensus. I reported on that yesterday, that there was a behind the scenes thing, and they were all kind of looking to what to do across the street. The officials were looking what to do. Then it goes on to say, we're told Will was aware there was talk about him asked to leave the theater during one of the commercial breaks. We're told that Oscar producers Will Packer, and I cannot believe this, Will Packer, this is the head guy of the production staff, walked up to Will and said, we do not want you to leave. And I am floored by that. I'm floored by that. First of all, floored by the idea that this would not come out in any way. I'm still like, I wanted to get this out there as quickly as possible. If this continues to be a real part of the conversation that's going on, and I really do think that it is, for somebody to literally tell him that they don't want for him to leave, and then to just come out and so brazenly say that, we did everything that we could. Will Packer walked up to Will Smith just after 8 p.m., around 35 minutes after the slap. That's when he was told that he was allowed to stay. So effectively, it would have been maybe like 5 minutes before he got the Best Actor award. Like, at that point, you can't ask him to leave. He's almost been there for 40 minutes after he physically assaulted someone on stage. And then, it says Will won the Best Actor award around 5 minutes later. It's interesting. The Academy's first statement about the incidents never even mentioned Will Smith by name. As the day went on and outrage grew, the Academy became more aggressive and went in hard on Smith, saying he took an aggressive stance and refused to leave. To say, first of all, you're throwing Will Smith under the bus in a way that is not helpful. Will Smith did something absolutely terrible. For you to lie saying that you allowed for him that you asked him to leave makes him look even worse, makes him look even more aggressive than he already is. So it kind of downplays the bad that he already did, because you're giving him a bit of an out. And just the more that it feels like, really, we don't care about the Academy anymore. Will Smith has made us that we don't care about the Academy anymore. The Academy has ensured that we're not going to care about what they say, how they behave, what they do, what awards they give out. It is just, I even feel nastier. Like, I report on entertainment news here that the whole industry is seeming just more and more repugnant, disgusting. The fact that these are the types of people that preach about how it is that we're all supposed to be acting is just absolutely disgraceful. That they have any sense that they are moral betters, or that they're able to say how people should be living makes less and less sense. It's going beyond annoying. And it's becoming, honestly, just disgusting and offensive. And if the Academy I don't know if the Academy can save face now. I really feel like they might not be able to save face anymore. And I see a bunch of people saying online, why do we care about this? Why are we still talking about this? Don't we need to move on from this? Will Smith just slapped someone. It's fun for 2 days, but it's time to move on. I think that we're dealing with something here that's much deeper than just seeing someone slap someone on live TV. The Oscars do now really represent a desperation of the fakest and most preachy part of America having to actually deal with a real situation. And it should be something that's incredibly easy to deal with. Something like this happens, someone physically assaults another person. It should not be very hard to reach a conclusion fairly quickly as to what you're going to do about this. It is taking them forever, and they are trying to PR their way out of this, when in fact, the only thing to do, I think, is just radical candor, with everyone being very public that this is unacceptable and this is terrible. The fact that they continually trip over themselves, not able to deal with a situation like this, which is a very simple thing to come out with. There are still people defending Will Smith, there are people saying, oh, well, they made a joke about his wife, so you gotta, let the man do whatever he wants. Like, okay, even if he made a joke that was 10 times more offensive, you don't slap someone. Like people say, you don't put hands on someone just because you hear a joke. This was a terrible decision. It was a terrible decision to not get him out of the building. It was a terrible decision to lie about it, because now you look almost worse than Will Smith. That was your event. What are you going to do about it? Like, how are we supposed to think that the Oscars or that Hollywood is in any way redeemable if the people that are kind of in charge of the highest level of the institution don't take it seriously in any way, shape, or form? This is a peek behind the curtain of one of the most pretentious and highfalutin parts of America. I really wish that Hollywood would go back to doing a very good job at just entertaining us and not acting like they are moral betters or anything like that. I mean, it's why Ricky Gervais was one of the perfect examples of a host. He understood that what they were doing, everything that they're doing that comes out of there, is supposed to be entertaining the audience, not just patting themselves on the back all the time. And no one else really seems to get that. That's why Ricky Gervais was so good at that job. And for Will Smith to get up there and slap one of the comedians is not just slapping Chris Rock. It is effectively a rich person saying that they have no respect for everyone else that might look down on the people in that room. That's why this story is sticking around. That's why when the Academy lies about how they were going to deal with it, it shows they don't care about the audience. I'm serious. This is why I talk about this so much on the channel. I think it is the most repugnant thing about Hollywood. I don't care so much about the preaching like that. I don't think that's the stuff that really, really pisses people off. Marlon Brando was preaching to us way back when. Like, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that everything that happens out of Hollywood feels like they hate the audience. If Will Smith had an understanding of what that show meant, that show is not really for everyone in that room, it's for celebrating movies, then you don't get up and slap someone. That show is not for them, but they think that it is. And that is why this is lasting so long. It is not, again, this is not about being mad that he made a joke and then he went up and slapped someone. Like, if you think that is all this is about, then yeah, I understand why people are upset that this is still a topic that's coming up. But it is so much bigger than that. It is literally Hollywood saying, we don't really care how disrespectful we are to the audience. We don't really care how hypocritical we seem to the audience. We don't really care about that very much. You're supposed to shut up. You're supposed to listen to what we do. And if something bad happens on our end, then hey, maybe it's a learning experience. Maybe we'll move on. But every time you see something like this, every time you see that the Academy, hey, oh, we told him to leave, and it's like, oh, you told him to leave. You could have done a lot better. You guys really don't know how to handle this. Then it comes out, oh, well, actually, we lied. We didn't actually tell him to leave. It's like, how stupid do you think everyone is? The more I just don't think they actually fathom how bad this type of thing is for Hollywood in general. They don't have a lot of people that take them very seriously. Something like this that happened in such a public way killed credibility for the few people that really look to them, at least for entertainment. The people that don't see that there's something more going on whenever it comes to the power that comes out of Hollywood. I just can't. I can't imagine. It's embarrassing how much they seem to think that they're able to get away with this. And we'll see what happens. The only real interesting part about it in terms of development with this is that the more that it comes out that the Academy is lying about how they're dealing with this, then the harder they're going to have to be on Will Smith. And I think the harder they go on Will Smith, I don't think they should take away his Oscar, because I think that actually fuels sympathy for Will Smith. And I don't think he deserves any right now. So I think it would be the best thing. Let him keep his Oscar, but make it so he is not eligible for any more awards going forward. He is not, and this would be what they're saying. They might expel him from the Academy. He's no longer eligible for awards. Nothing he does in the future is going to get him an Oscar. He is not invited to any more of the events. He is essentially persona non grata, forcing him essentially to still be able to make movies, but not able to get the recognition that comes with it. He would really have to he would have to do this only to get back the audience that he's now lost. We remember Tom Cruise lost so much money at the box office because whenever he did the thing on Oprah's show, people would not pay attention to him anymore. They didn't care. He was silly. And that's what Will Smith has done. He's been made silly. And the Academy does not have the balls to call out what is going on here and saying it's unacceptable to not be able to come out and call a spade of something that's so obvious to take care of is just, it's the proof of, yeah, like I say here all the time, love movies, hate Hollywood. They make no sense. They're not connected with the culture in any way. They don't seem to understand how this is playing with the public at large. I don't know how you can't see that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see here in the next few hours what everyone else is saying about this. But effectively, the only bit of grace the Academy had was that they asked Will Smith to leave. That's the only bit. Everyone is pretty much saying they should have kicked him out. The only little bit of grace that they were getting was that they asked him to leave. That comes out as a lie. It's exponential growth in terms of the backlash that is going to happen to the Academy, is going to happen Will Smith. And honestly, the more that this progresses, this might end up just being the end of the Oscars. Like I'm not going to be, with how this stuff is going, I'm not going to be surprised. Advertisers start pulling back. That's how it starts happening. We've already seen what the decisions the Academy was making because they cut those categories. Sound engineers, actors, producers, they were, some threatened to leave. A few of them did leave. A few of them quit. A few of them said it's not worth it. The Academy doesn't take care of the artists. It doesn't pay attention to the audience. I don't think it's going to be surprising if this story that it was reported like an hour ago is saying that, yeah, we lied about the Will Smith thing. People are going to start pulling back. People are going to start pulling away. I think this might actually, and that's why I said a few days ago, I think Will Smith slapped the casket shut on the credibility of the Oscars, because they don't have a lot of character. And I think that this is just an example where they could have shown that there's character. It happened kind of with the Alec Baldwin thing, with the Alec Baldwin tragedy. Nobody was saying anything in any respect. And while everyone around the country was talking about how bizarre and disgusting it is, the media and Hollywood just kind of tried to brush it, push it under the rug, just say it's an accident, doesn't really matter, blah, blah, blah. And then the same thing with this. They're trying to make it so that it just seems like, oh, well, there was a joke and she has a disability and all this stuff, and it's not working. This type of trying to just get forgiveness immediately by going to the most, I guess, politically correct side of the story is not really working anymore. And especially with something like this, it was violent, it was very public, it was rude, it was disrespectful to everyone that was there, completely disrespectful. The Academy condoned it. They were fine with it because they did nothing about it. They tried to lie about it to get it so that they don't have to actually face any public scrutiny. And I don't know what comes next from here, but I think that this story is going to get worse and worse for everyone involved. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on this. Like, what happens next here? Like, what I just don't. I don't see a way in this. I'm just surprised that they're able to continue to make this worse and worse for them. And from now, if anyone out there still thinks that this was fake, I think the only thing that you could say about it being fake is that the Oscars want to be over. The Academy wants there to be no more Oscars. Hollywood wants there to be no more Oscars. And so they're doing this as a way to force themselves to get out of the game without actually having to kind of call that they are canceled. They want the public to cancel the Oscars. At this point, that's the only way that I think anyone is going to believe that this thing is actually fake, because it's bad. It's bad for everyone. Chris Rock, he gave statements the other day. What he said he's effectively still processing it. And that's the thing. I think again, to the people that say that they want this whole story to be over with, I don't think it's over with, because this is more than just one millionaire slapping another millionaire. This is a rich person slapping the person that is the symbolic person who's a bridge from the rich to just the everyday person that enjoys movies. And Will Smith disrespected everyone watching at home. Pretty much said, I don't care. Look, everyone at home that's probably laughing at that joke, screw you. I don't care about you. I don't care about the person making it. I don't care about anyone that wants to talk about me like that. And everyone at home, that's why I don't think Will Smith's career is going to go well. People see stuff like that. People see an actor treating the audience like they don't care. It's how the Oscars have been treating everyone. This was a direct way of telling everyone sitting at home watching the Oscars, we do not care about you at all. You do not make jokes at our expense. We tell you what to do. It's elitist trash. It's very annoying. It's very preachy. And I think the more that this goes on, the more that I hope we are getting to the end of this. I think at the end of the day, if the Oscars want to be a live stream that people pay $20 to watch, maybe that's the way that we go. Maybe put it on YouTube. But this embarrassment of going up there and watching people just accept these awards and give these speeches and smack the shit out of each other is just, I don't know how it can keep going with any level of credibility. This last year, the show Squid Game, foreign show came out, took the world on by storm. I think that is going to be the future of how we give celebration and credibility to things. We're talking on social media. It's word of mouth. We don't need award shows to kind of tell us what is the best, because they don't even talk about what people are watching. They just talk about the niche thing that they're caring about. And now Will Smith doing something like this, it kind of adds another element in there. It's kind of like, we can do whatever the hell we want. We don't really care about what you think. The Academy then comes in, lies about it, tries to do a little PR spin, kind of be like, yeah, you know what? He's kind of right. We don't really care about it. We'll do whatever we want to do. And you know what? We bet that you guys are probably going to forget about it in a week. That's why we'll make a decision in 2 weeks. And that's almost why I don't want the story to go away. The only way that there's actually going to be a level of accountability, like this is an industry, a bubble industry. The only way that there's going to be any type of announcement of there being any consequences is going to be if there's continued social media pressure, continued jokes. There have to be jokes after jokes, continuing, making it more and more of a fool because it's funny, it's disrespectful, it's mean-spirited what happened. And I think that there needs to be continued public pressure, because just as an institution, to continually look down on people, continually talk to people like they don't matter, or they should just be able to put up with whatever they want to put up with, treating people like they have the opinion of a gnat, or the attention span of a gnat, like, hey, we'll give you a week and you'll forget about it. It's just disgusting, and I really wish that they would get a clue. There's also been polls going around that I don't even think are true. I saw a few polls, like 3 polls, that were saying that people are split between who was right. Was Will Smith right, or was Chris Rock right? And I can't really imagine that a lot of people are actually thinking, okay, you see this happen, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? I think maybe we'll go, more than anything else, Chris Rock is probably the one in the wrong. I don't get that. I think it's a lie. I think this is a lot of media spin that's going on, trying to make it okay. And I don't think people think it's okay. I really don't. And I don't think it's going to go away, because this is much bigger than just, like I said, a millionaire slapping a millionaire. It's an institution telling the rest of the world, after doing something incredibly embarrassing and violent and mean-spirited, it's telling everyone, screw you. We don't care. We don't care. But, well, thank you everyone for watching. I saw that this came up. I saw that I figured I'm serious, if this is true, and look, if it comes out in a few hours that this was not true, then let this video be nothing more than pointing out why it is important, why this story is important, that it is not just a tabloid type of one star being mean to another star. This is about an entire industry telling the audience that they do not matter. Vintage Web 82, stop watching Hollywood trash. I'm reading a fantastic book right now about the Chinese film industry, and how in the 90s the Chinese started learning from America, and I'm telling you right now, we don't see it, but China is doing a fantastic job at catching up to, and has plans within the next 20 years. Their date is 2050 to pass up Hollywood in terms of influence, even in America. I think that we need to call for Hollywood to not be preachy. We need to call for Hollywood to be quality, to not preach, and to make really good content. And I think that's because we take for granted the fact that Hollywood has so much influence around the entire world. And if that decreases, it is not going to just be that Hollywood goes away. China is already working to fill that void, and in a very, very, very dangerous way. So I'm going to have a video later that comes out about that. I agree, Hollywood, you have to go into it understanding the types of things that you're watching. Call out the bad when it's bad, praise the good when it's good. But Hollywood needs to not go away. It needs to be better. Hey, look, and if that means maybe Hollywood does need to go away, and we need to just have people need to leave LA. People need to go to different parts of the country, start making more stuff going on around the rest of the world. It is not working. It is not working having Hollywood as the hub in America for making content. They're disconnected. They don't know what's going on. The Will Smith thing proves it. Fuzz Aldrin says, Will Smith will Jedi mind trick the world and nothing will happen to him. I think that's why people need to not stop talking about it. This is not just a tabloid thing that happened. This is one of the only chances I think that we are going to get to force that industry to actually have some type of a reckoning with what's going on. And the more humiliating it becomes, notice every star that comes out and gives their opinion on this thing, whether they are for or whether they're against Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Zoe Kravitz. There were a few others who were making comments but people pretty much went through everything they had said and then started roasting them online. Like, if there's a good that comes out of this, it is an actor decides that they can say whatever they want to say, and immediately social media is like, you better shut the hell up. You better go back to your mansion, go back to the set, do what you have to do in the privacy of your own home, but do not get out here and tell us what it is that we are supposed to be doing. I think that is probably going to be the most positive thing that could come from this. But I don't think the story is going away. I hope the story does not go away. Especially, I kind of felt it yesterday, maybe a little bit. Maybe we're getting a little over this. Seeing that the Academy lied about what is going on behind the scenes, how they decided to deal with it, they need to be forced to do something about this, because the more disrespect we have for Hollywood, even though they're calling on it, they need to be doing much better, because it's a very sour industry. Fuzz Alden says Tiffany Haddish and Whoopi Goldberg are on Will Smith's side. There are too many of them. Whoopi Goldberg's comments said she said he shouldn't lose his Oscar, which I kind of agree with. I think he should be kicked out of the Academy, no longer allowed to get an award. I think if they take away his Oscar, he's going to get too much public sympathy. I think he needs to be expelled, no longer allowed to take part in any events, no longer able to go to the Oscars, no longer able to campaign for any movie that he is a producer on. Pretty much take away all of his power within the industry to create something that's going to collect any accolades. Tiffany Haddish's comments were disgusting and strange. But Whoopi Goldberg pretty much said that there's absolutely nothing good about what he did, and he needs to have consequences. She said nobody, I think she said like nobody agrees that what Will Smith did was right. I might be missing something. There. But the fact that you have like Wanda Sykes, I think Ellen came out, and I know that these are all the very, regular, very annoying woke type of people, but it needs to be something so powerful that the annoying woke type of people kind of have to admit that is bad and that deserves consequences. That's what's so powerful about this. It's such a obvious issue that it needs to be able to shut up everyone that likes to kind of be I'm taking a take over here. I'm going to take a hot take about how what he did was actually fine. And everyone's going chivalrous now on the other side. They're like, a man's role is to protect his woman. It's like, that doesn't sound like the message we're supposed to be giving off nowadays. What is the spin going on behind the scenes? F Disney too. I'm not very familiar with what's going on with Disney. I'll need to look that up. But everyone that's watching, thank you so much. I wanted to jump on here and get this story out before it kind of became, a bigger thing. So feel free to like, subscribe. Also, there's a link in the Patreon below. Feel free to join there. I actually might not be in the Patreon below. Check any of the other videos around. I'll put the Patreon link below. $5 a month. There's a show that comes out every single Friday. We talk about even more news. Fuzz Alden says, I predict a comedian will get a shot for a joke. Ricky Gervais put out a video from The Office. Best take. I even last night watched a few segments of Ricky Gervais's Golden Globes. And that's the thing. Ricky Gervais so got what that role was. That role was, it's a show for people that are in the room, but also everyone that is watching has to be entertained, and it has to be at the rich people's expense. He did such a good job. Every year that he came back, like the joke that he made about everyone here is so woke, but we all know that if ISIS opened up a studio, you'd be calling your agents trying to send over your resume. Like, he was on fire, and he understood that everyone in that room hated him, absolutely hated him. What he did, the one joke about how we all came here in our limos. I came here in a limo, and mine had a license plate made by Felicity Huffman. That was like the one that made Tom Hanks give him that look that was trending on social media. Like, the role of the person there is supposed to be for the audience, and they're supposed to make everyone in that room mad. That's why Ricky Gervais did so well. The idea of someone being allowed to go up there and slap a comedian for something they say is not slapping the comedian. It's slapping everyone that is at home watching. It's saying a condemnation of the audience. It's saying, you don't matter. Your opinions don't really add up to anything here. We don't even care if you don't watch. This isn't even for you. If you're watching, it's because you're being told what you have to enjoy. It's condescending and it's nasty. So I hope that it continues to put pressure on the institution to stop that kind of behavior. I can think that's kind of the result from this. Stop that kind of behavior. You have to give a consequence. Everyone that's saying, let's just move on, doesn't want to reckon with the fact. They probably like the fact that these influential people love to tell other people to shut up. It's annoying. So those are my 30 minutes worth of 2 cents. Has that been 30 minutes? Well, thank you, everyone. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and thank you, everyone, so much. I'll talk to you soon.